welcome back to Worship Wednesday with me, Megan, every single Wednesday right here on Practical Faith. Today I came up to the Lord and I said, Lord, it's that time of the year. We are all tired. There's a lot of things going on in our lives, and the Lord gave me one very specific passage, and it's Romans 8 verse 18. It says, I consider that our present sufferings are not worth comparing with the glory that will be revealed in us. And wow. And yesterday, the Lord gave me another completely different passage, and it's in Acts 12, verse 7. And it was where Peter was in the prison cell, and the angel came to him, and in the very moment, the angel said to Peter, or he hit him on the side, and he said to Peter, quick, get up, and the chains fell off. Now, the full theme about this is let the chains fall off. The Lord tells us, you know what, the suffering that you go through is for the greater purpose. If you come back, there was a moment in the garden where Jesus said to the Lord, may this cup pass by me. I think he prayed this 3 times, where he said, let this cup pass me, but your will be done. Let this cup pass me, but your will be done. Let this cup pass me, but your will be done. And so often, you have to start to wonder what would have happened if God actually took, well, Jesus is God, but what would have happened if that cup was being taken away from Jesus and he didn't have to suffer on the cross? Well, I think we kind of know. If you look at Sodom and Gomorrah, I think we kind of know what would have happened with this earth by now if Jesus didn't come to set us free. But now the question comes, the situation that you are going through, is this your cup? This is your cross to bear. He tells you, pick up your cross and follow me, so that you can go and be crucified with him, next to him, suffering the things that he has called you to suffer for the purpose that he has over your life. Sometimes it feels like torture. There's certain things that feel like absolute torture. And then we come and we say, Lord, put me in alignment with the will that you have over my life. And he starts bringing you closer and closer and closer. And the closer you get, the more painful it becomes. And you're like, bring me closer. But okay, wait. It starts to hurt too much now. And like, Lord, let this cup pass me. Let this cup pass me. Let this cup pass me. And this is where the Holy Spirit reminded me today of the Dead Sea parting for Moses. And he said, but I will make a way for you. Even though this feels like torture, I'm gonna let it happen. I'm gonna make it happen. The reason you are enduring this is to let this happen. You need to suffer through this for the greater good, for the actual reason that I have called you, because I need you to suffer to step into your calling. And this is hard. This is a horrible place. But then in 2 Corinthians, because there's a moment where you feel like, God, but I'm not doing anything right at the moment. It feels like I'm failing this test because I keep praying that you take this cup away from me. Yet I'm praying for this amazing plan to come into fruition. And you're like, okay, but am I going to let this cup pass, or am I going to chase the will you have over my life? And he says in 2 Corinthians, there is not a test that we have failed. And we forget about this. It's not a test that we are failing, it's a trial that we are facing. There's a very big difference. We are facing a trial. We're not writing tests. You know what? The Lord He's not going to put you through trials unnecessarily. He's not even the one, often He's allowing for the trials. He's not causing them. He's allowing for them so that you can grow in your spiritual life, that you can grow as a person, so that you can be ready for the thing that He has called you to. Because a lot of the times we sit and we kind of have these little pity parties, and we're like, okay, but Lord, it feels like you called me for this specific thing, and I know what you called me for. But why am I having to endure this type of suffering, which feels like it's completely separate from the actual calling that you have over my life? You know, Moses had a speech impediment. Moses was supposed to go out and go speak in front of thousands of people, hundreds of people. I'm not too sure about my theology there. But he was called to go and speak to hundreds, thousands of people with a speech impediment. The Lord called him for this. And you know what? When we look at the things in our lives that feel like they are not fitting into our calling because we have to suffer through them. Maybe we have to sit back and ask God, but what is my calling actually? Is my calling going to be therapeutics? Is it going to be ministering? Well, obviously ministry, but you know what I mean. What is the calling that you have? Because He has a sovereign plan for us. He really does. But He allows the suffering, just like He allowed with Job, so that He can bless us 10 times in return. And we're going to stand up from that suffering and we're going to be glorifying Him, because the suffering does not come without glory. It doesn't. That sentence doesn't happen in the Bible. Suffering doesn't happen in vain. Everything that we endure as Christians, as saved children of Christ, everything we endure serves a greater purpose. So I hope that whatever you are going through in this moment, remember that you are not alone. Even when they were out at sea and the big storm was happening, Jesus was in the boat. He was in the boat. And only when they called upon Him, He stepped up and He calmed the storm. Call upon Him and He will calm the storm. And even if the storm doesn't stop, even if it starts pouring harder, at least He's with you. And He will not let you go. He will not forsake you. I hope you have a wonderful week, and I hope that this really encourages you. Check back next week. Bye, everyone.